そなたの素晴らしき魔法と友人に敬意を表したまでよ。そしてこの域にまで達したそなたはもはや見習いをいつ卒業してもおかしくない。今日よりさらに新しく楽しい魔法を伝授してやろう。これより原初の魔女見習いのマリアと名乗るがよい。
Fucking course.
原初の魔女って？
造物主の道を求める魔女の称号よ。今は身の回りの小物に魔力を吹き込む力しか持たぬエンチャンターでしかない。しかし1000年の修行を経たならば、その胸の内より魔法体系はおろか銀河を生み出すことも夢ではあるまい。
Yeah, just 1,000 years. And that's it.
原初の魔女の才能はとても希少。幼き日には誰もが持つのに誰も持ち続けることができない。この称号はあなたが汚れなき心を失わなかったことの証でもありますね。
原初の魔女すごい！なる！マリア、原初の魔女見習い！マリア、すごいね！原初の魔女、すごいすごい！ウリュン！
作太郎だけでなく、そろそろそなたもその格にふさわしい身なりをしても良い頃であろう。それ、見習いとはいえ魔女の名を語るにふさわしき服装を与える。
When Beata waved the pipe that was her cane, many gold butterflies that appeared out of nowhere grouped around Maria, giving her a wonderful dress. Oh my god, we're getting a little witch Maria, aren't we? Yes, we are. It certainly was fitting for the girl who would eventually take the name of the Witch of Origins, obtaining both cuteness and dignity.
すごい！すごいすごいすごいすごい！
Please don't turn out to be like Ava when she became a witch. And start, you know, torturing people for the hell of it because, oh my god, I can reanimate these people. It's so much fun.
かわいい！かわいい！このお洋服、ママにも見せたい！ダメ？
No.
魔女の清掃はみだりに見せてはならぬぞ。もったいぶった方が価値が出るというもの。
But if she only shows it to her mother, it would be fine, right? Then the Great Witch, the Witch's Apprentice, and their new friend, Sakataro, enjoyed a lively tea party.
ね、私はこんなにも幸せだよ。そしてこんなにも楽しい。幸せになることをどうか恐れないで。幸せになるというのは今の不幸を受け入れるという意味じゃないの。今の不幸の中に幸せを新しく生み出すということなの。それが原初の魔法。
God damn, Maria. Ugh, stop it. Even though that's actually been my mantra this whole time. Like, you just make the best of your fucking situation. It should, but you can make it the best that you can. That's been my mantra this entire time. Glad apparently I have more in common with Maria than I actually thought at first.
私は今の自分の世界を認め、こんなにも孤独で辛い世界を肯定するのが許せなかった。だからマリアお姉ちゃんの世界に惹かれながらも最後の一戦で受け入れられなかった。
教えてあげる。マリアの原初の魔法を。いいえ、教えたことがあったはず。そしてあなたにも使えたはずなんだよ。忘れちゃった？エンジェだってマリアージュ・ソルシエールに名を連ねる魔女の見習いだったでしょ？
ええ、そうだったわね。マリアージュ・ソルシエール、懐かしいわね。私もそこに名を連ねていることがあったっけ。
What? Please don't make me try to pronounce that word. Or at least those words, I'll suffer. God, it's so sweet. It's so heartwarming. Shouldn't necessarily say sweet, it's just really heartwarming. And sad at the same time. 12 years later, okay. Not as sad.
Eh, あれは忘れもしない。1987年4月のことです。
Oh, she's meeting with the specialist.
私は友人からある奇妙な依頼を受けました。とある大富豪の遺品である蔵書が大量に競売にかけられていて、その一部に民族学的にも考古学的にも、あるいはオカルト的な意味でも極めて価値の高いものが含まれていると思われる。その価値を内密に見てほしいというのです。
87年、六軒島での事件の半年後。
さようです。それらの蔵書は六軒島での難を逃れたものと説明されていました。それを島の所有者である後宮エバ氏が競売に出したというのです。
This was apparently a high-class restaurant. A middle-aged man was sitting across from Angie in a secluded, quiet seat. Amakusa could be seen by the entrance. He's probably keeping a lookout for pursuers from the Sumadara family. Oh, hello. The scholarly man across from Angie spoke politely but with enthusiasm. He didn't lay a finger on the food in front of him, so you could tell how excited he was as he spoke fervently. He was a professor at a certain college and particularly well known as an authority on Western folklore. However, among his life works, that was only a convenient exterior. His true life work was the study of occultism, Western magic, alchemy, and everything else that's to do with the occult, as well as demonology. In short, he was the person in the best position to understand the details of Kinzo's research.
まず蔵書を鑑定して分かったことは、後宮エバ氏には民族学的な教養は全くなく、そしてその蔵書の本来の持ち主である後宮金蔵氏は、日本で五子に入る悪魔学の権威であったことは間違いないということです。
April 1987. A major city antique shop obtained a large quantity of ancient documents that were thought to have a high historical value. They were entrusted with them by Ushiromiya Eva, who wanted them to be sold at auction. At the time, it was thought that Eva would succeed the Ushiromiya family and have all the wealth to herself as the only survivor. However, at that point, not even half a year had passed since the accident, and others had not been missing long enough to be presumed dead, even under extraordinary circumstances. Because of that, Eva had supposedly been in a very tight spot financially, unable to even collect on her family's life insurance. It seemed she tried to sell everything of value, and even the books kept in the place where she had escaped harm in Kuwadorian were used for this purpose. These old books, which would eventually be called the Ushiromiya Library, were later gathered from antique shops by authorities in the field so that they could be appraised, and those authorities were astounded.
少なくとも神秘学の見地から言えば、その発見が世界に与えた衝撃は司会文書発見にも匹敵するものでした。後宮蔵書にはなんと1000年以上にもわたる間、その存在だけが知られているにもかかわらず、発見されていなかった数々の極めて重要な文献さえ含まれていたからです。
The many drains of the occult, such as those represented by alchemy, always stirred an intense fascination in Dilantines, whatever. It was whispered that many magical books of great historical value, currently unknown to the public, might be in the secret possession of extremely wealthy lovers of the occult. Items such as Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks, which are particularly popular among dilettantes, whatever, are said to be prime examples of this. Rich people like this shit. It is said that approximately 5,000 pages of these notebooks currently exist and that over 10,000 have been lost. But some researchers believe that a large part of this lost portion may be monopolized by certain enthusiasts and members of the extremely rich. It is said that because of this, even now, dilettantes who can't help but seek the spare no expense to search around the quietly hoarded away in unannounced notebooks. There's probably no doubt that Ushiromiya Kenzo was himself one of those people. No one knows what Kenzo went through to obtain those, but there can be no mistake that he used his vast wealth freely, buying them off of other rich people with the same hobby as him. Those books, which were so valuable that enthusiasts would never satisfy their desire to hoard them away, were discovered in large numbers at the end of the 20th century, and their release to the public had given the entire world a massive shock.
この一件によりロッキン島の名は全世界に知れ渡ることになります。そして同時にロッキン島の事故によって未発見のさらに価値ある蔵書が大量に失われた可能性が高いことも全世界に衝撃を与えました。これによりロッキン島と後宮蔵書の名は我々にとって生涯忘れないものとなったのです。
Our memories. That R probably meant the occult neck of the woods with the same hobby as Kenzo. Because of that incident, the name of Rokkenjima had taken on a vital meaning in the world of the occult. There certainly had been a lot of reporting of the incident of Rokkenjima itself, but not on an international level. However, this one part had spread across the world. Taking the image of Rokkenjima as a small island in the Izo archipelago, and painting it over as a demonic island where riddles, suspicion, and mystery in the occult met. In other words, until Kenzo's library was leaked to the public by Eva, Rokkenjima had nearly been a nameless island that no one could remember, and certainly not the island of a witch. However, when knowledge of the Ushiromiya library spread all over the planet, Rokkenjima's image immediately took on an occult twist.
そしてそこへ起こるのが例のメッセージボトル事件です。これがあの島を魔女の島に変えた。伊豆諸島の無名の小島がオカルトの島へ、そして謎の魔女ベアトリーチェの島へと変遷していったのです。後宮蔵書とメッセージボトル、このどちらが欠けてもロッキン島魔女伝説は成り立たなかったと言えます。
メッセージボトル。
はい、空の瓶に手紙を封印し海に投じるという不特定対象への通信方法です。無人島から SOS を発信するというのが有名ですが、海外の有名推理小説の影響で自らの死後に真実を告白するという時間差的な遺書としても知られるようになりました。
I wonder what that foreign detective novel is, right? I mean, it can't possibly be related to this kind of storytelling idea.
ロッキン島メッセージボトル事件はまさにこの後者だったのです。
近くの島の漁師が拾っていたというやつですね。
I don't know if that's real though. I can see, I mean, I don't know. There's no telling if that letter was real or not. That's the problem. It could easily be faked.
さようです。
Because I believe they're talking about Maria's letter in the bottle. Saying, you know, solve this or whatever. It could easily be faked.
式根島の若い漁師が手紙入りのワインボトルを拾っていたことが分かったのです。この若い漁師は興味本位からそれをたまたま保管していました。それが後宮蔵書でロッキン島が世界的注目を浴びたため公表したというのです。
その漁師による捏造の可能性は？
もちろんその可能性も否定できませんでした。ワインボトル内のノート片には後宮家のとある人物の署名がされていました。
Yeah, the problem is, like, how would he have known about her? But I would say it's not necessarily from Maria. It could be, like, from Ava or something.
後宮マリアという少女です。
Someone posing as Maria who is on the island. Who wrote it?
しかし彼女の遺品の肉質から別人の筆跡であることが確認されました。
There you go. It is faked.
別人の筆跡？
さようです。少なくとも 少女より達筆で年齢のある人物によって書かれたことは疑いようがないでしょう。彼女の名を語った何者かが執筆した可能性が極めて高かったのです。
And it would have had to been someone who knew about her personally.
よっ
Or at
て
least it
この時
kind
点で
of.
はノート編の内容の信憑性は薄いと考えられました。
However, later on it was confirmed that a similar message bottle had been recovered from a nearby ocean on the same day of the accident by the police in their search of the lost articles, and this caused a sensation.
警察は現場の状況とボトルの封印状況から捏造の可能性は低く、事故直前の数日以内に投棄したものと判断したようです。また双方の筆跡は一致しました。これにより漁師の発見したノート編の信憑性が増すこととなりました。
But it's still not Maria's, though, who wrote it.
メッセージボトルの内容については週刊誌などが繰り返し報道しているようですが、説明がいりますかな？
いいえ、一応知っていますので。
Many scraps of paper had been stuffed into both of the wine bottles. It was an extensive notebook written by someone calling themselves Ushirimiya Maria. But who wasn't Maria, and which told the events starting the day before the incident up until the day of the accident, like in a diary-like way. And its contents had been the beginning, the witch's legend serial murder incident, as well as the Golden Witch Beatrice's puzzle.
この奇妙な日記風式には、台風で島に釘付けにされた後宮家の親族たちが魔女復活の儀式に巻き込まれ、次々に不可解な方法で殺されていく様子が記されていました。そして最後に黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェがよみがえり、全てを黄金鏡に飲み込む。まるでそれこそが当日の全容であるかのように記されていました。また当時の島の状況についても非常に詳しく描写されており、後宮家に勤務したことがある元の使用人たちは間違いなく内部に詳しい人間が書いたに違いないと証言しました。
そのおかしな幻想小説と後宮蔵書以降のオカルトブーム、そして結局は真相は闇の中という3つが合わさり、六軒島の魔女伝説を生み出したと。
さようです。すでに10年以上が経過した事件ですが、未だに世界のオカルトマニアの関心を集めています。いや、むしろ時間を得てますますに深刻化されたと言っていい。上陸禁止になっている六軒島に密かに上陸しようというマニアも未だに多いとか。未だ未発見のメッセージボトルがあるのではないか。そしてあの日、あの島で本当は何があったのか、未だに議論はつきませんとも。
As though he had finally remembered that he'd been going on and on for some time, the man took a gulp of water. His pontage was getting cold, but it seemed that the man's hunger had already been blown away.
確か漁師のノート編と警察のノート編で内容が全く違うと聞きましたが。
さようです。このせいで六軒島ミステリーはさらに面白みが増したのです。
It almost feels like a fantasy novel, someone writing about this whole thing, or a mystery novel.
2つのボトルの中身はどちらも事故前日から当日までを記した日記風の式です。
Though of course you can't be, like someone couldn't have because they would have had to go on the island before the police arrived, which would have been really hard.
しかしその内容は共に前日から当日を記した内容であり、にもかかわらずまるでどちらかが真実でどちらかが虚偽のように、あるいは両方とも虚偽なのかもしれない。しかし始まりと終わりだけは一致するのです。始まりは親族たち18人は台風で島に閉じ込められた。そして終わりは全員が死に黄金の魔女がよみがえり、 全ては黄金鏡に飲み込まれる。
The contents of both message bottles wrote about the events of the day before the incident and the day of the incident, but the details were completely different. Both diaries outline a serial murderer following the epitaph of the witch, but the order of the sacrifices, the ways they died, and even the tale of the 2 days were different. However, in both, everyone died in the end of the witch revived, making for the same general plot.
あの島で何があったのか。唯一の生存者である後宮エバ氏が沈黙していた以上、あの2日間の出来事は全てが闇の中です。この2つの日記はその闇を埋める仮説をこともあろうか2つも提示してみせたのです。どちらの日記でも2日間を説明できる。しかしどちらが正しいのか、あるいは正しいことが含まれているのかさえわからないのです。
Schrodinger's cat box. If it isn't denied, even a mixture of truth and fiction can be the truth. Through the media, these scraps of paper had, of course, been shown to Ava as well, but in the end, she never broke her silence.
誰が何のためにメッセージボトルを？
事件10周年特集を組んだ雑誌が以前大々的に取り上げたでしょう。あの仮説が今日では最も支持を集めているようです。しかし面白みには欠ける。あの島であの日何が起こったのか、それを考えるのがウィッチハントの醍醐味なのですな。
ウィッチハント？
ああ、ロッキン島ウィッチハントとは、この事件の真相をオカルトの側面から説明しようと試みるマニアの集いのことです。
Yeah, trying to hunt down the witch, right?
後宮蔵書から謎の2日間、そして黄金の魔女の伝説など、ロッケン島に関わる謎は今でもマニアの間で盛んに議論されているのです。10周年の時にはニューヨークで国際コンベンションも開かれました。私も日本の代表として参加してきましてね。
God damn it.
海外の熱心なウィッチハンターと様々な交流をしてきましたよ。海外では魔女はとても人気のあるカテゴリーでしてね。参加者の年齢幅も下は小学生から上は著名な文化人まで実に幅広い。日本でも近年ようやく。
You probably don't need any more explanation, but he's one of the most famous Rokenjima witch hunters in Japan. Even though I didn't ask any more, he kept continuing on excitedly all by himself. As I swirled the thin film of my pottage? With my spoon, I shrugged my shoulders and sighed. Shut up. Looks like researching about the message bottle really was a waste of time. No, if there's one thing I've found, it's that the notebook supposedly written by Maria was actually written by a different person faking her name. And that person wrote up an occult legend on their own, put it in a bottle as though it was the truth and threw it into the sea. I have a question. Why would they give her all the trouble of writing so much in order to prepare a suspicious letter like that? With a message bottle, there'd be no guarantee that it would ever pass into anyone's hands. If their luck had been bad, it could have sunk in the ocean, never to be seen by anyone. And even if someone had picked it up, they might have not cared about it and thrown it away. Which is why they had two. One on the island because they knew that the police would pick it up, and then another one. Just in case, probably. Why would they entrust their confession of the truth to the sea with such an uncertain method? And why would write up multiple differing tales? If there had been one message bottle claiming that is the story of the truth might be reckless but not impossible. However, because there were two, that made both of them doubtful. If someone was planning to make out these 2 days to be the work of a witch, then they really did go one step too far. And because that there were two, it suggests that an undiscovered third one, or possibly even more, exist. In other words, the two differing contents make both of them harder and harder to swallow. And despite that, the contents of both matched in that they told of a witch and of a tale. So it was that the main point of the author wanted to get across to us. It seems to me that the only possible explanation is that someone who wanted to give rise to an illusion of a witch carried out this crime for their own enjoyment. However, the 17 people other than Aunt Ava lost their lives, and a vast wealth of maybe even 10 tons of gold had been moved around secretly in the darkness. It doesn't feel right for a confession occurring after all that to bring up this illusion of the witch. Even if we ignore the magazine's theory, it's very doubtful that the message bottles really was a diary. After all, the amount of writing was massive. It's hard to imagine that someone actually caught up in the middle of a serial murder like that would be able to calmly write it down. In that case, it's probably more realistic that this diary was written slowly over a long period of time, up until the day prior to the accident. In that case, would it mean that everything on Rokenjima was a planned crime, with everything prepared for over a long stretch of time? The fact that Aunt Ava left this world without saying anything is infuriating. She definitely said it on her deathbed. She definitely said that her reason for not telling me the truth was because it was her best way of harassing me. Yeah, by now it's painfully obvious. Of all the things Aunt Ava did to harass me, this was probably the last and the greatest. But thinking of it this way, it's pretty doubtful that Aunt Ava is the true culprit. Of course, that's not because the handwriting on the message bottle was different from Aunt Ava's or anything like that. It's because in both tales that were discovered, Aunt Ava was included among the victims. If the writer of the diary was the culprit, maybe Aunt Ava was also one of the targets to be killed. Maybe Aunt Ava survived because something went wrong. Because I hated it, Aunt Ava, I came to believe that she had to be the culprit. I think something did go wrong. Which is, she solved the epitaph. But the existence of the message bottle makes me suspect that the mastermind is a far more profound and unknown person than her. Oh, I definitely agree. I think the mastermind did make it, though. I looked at the clock. I've heard more than enough. It's time. As he continued to speak fervently, I suggested that I wanted to bring this discussion to a close. Just stand up and start walking out. He seemed to be aware that he'd gotten a little excited and talked too much, so he quickly accepted this.
今日は本当にありがとうございました。貴重なお話が聞けたと思います。
いえいえ、ウィッチハントの新しい仲間に若いお嬢さんを迎えできて本当に楽しかったです。今日は歌詞を変えてしまったのでお見せできなかった貴重な資料がいくつもあります。
Yeah, that's nice. Nice to talk to you. Bye.
次の機会の時にはぜひそれをお見せしましょう。
ありがとう先生。最後に聞いてもいいですか？
はい、何でしょうか。
先生はどうして魔女に、いえ、神秘学や悪魔学に興味を？
Well, time for a fucking 8-hour discussion now.
それを言われると恥ずかしい。
Why is that?
不思議な力が使えたなら意地悪なガキ大将にも負けないのに。
Oh.
という子供の頃の妄想がそのままライフワークになってしまっただけです。未知なる力への憧れというプリミティブな願望は今も昔も普遍的ですからな。
先生はなれるものなら魔女になりたいですか？思うがままに魔法を使ってみたいという夢を今も？
もちろんですとも。この年になりそういうものが実在しないと理屈では分かっていても、それでもなお空を飛んでみたい、鉄くずを黄金に変えてみたいという子供のような夢は忘れられずにいます。学生たちにはどうか内密に。
私が実は魔女だと言ったらお信じになります？
Yeah.
女は魔女であるというのが私のささやかな女性経験からの持論です。
Angie snorted at the old professor, who must have been an earnest scholar with barely any experience with women. Poor guy.
そうそう。最後にもう一つだけ質問を。
Though to be fair, Angie shouldn't be one to talk because, how many friends or any guys has she ever hung out with again? Oh yeah, that's right, no one.
先生はメッセージボトルの実物をご覧になったことは？
ありますとも。
では、その筆跡についてもお詳しいですか？
もちろん、その道の専門家ではありませんが、メッセージボトルの筆跡に関してだけは日本で最も詳しいと自負していますとも。
At that point, Angie set a book on the desk with a thud.
これは初めて見るものです。
He prided himself on his thorough knowledge of all literature related to Rokenjimen, and he looked bewildered at this binding that he hadn't seen before. Ignoring him, Angie silently flipped through the pages, opened to one of them, and showed him. On that page was a handwritten paragraph beginning with, "To my beloved witch apprentice." And at the end there was a signature in katakana that said Beatrice.
それは
The instant he glanced at it, his face went pale. She knew the answer before asking, but Angie asked it aloud anyway.
このページに記されている文章の筆跡はメッセージボトルの筆跡と一致しますか？
いや、持ち帰って詳しく調べない方に失礼だが、この本は一体どこに？
It is. I was right. It was the main culprit. And Maria would have been hanging out with him. I don't know where she would have hung out with him and when. Though, if it is a servant at a family conference or something, I don't know if Rose ever took her to just the island with herself and Maria in tow. They haven't stated it. They've only said Ava's done that. I don't think Rosa would even want to do that. But who knows? So maybe. The man stretched out his hand, but Angie pulled it back, as though telling him not to touch it with his filthy hands. Bag.
その反応だけで結構です。今日はありがとうございました。これ、お約束の謝礼です。
As she stood up clutching Maria's diary, Angie carelessly tossed a wad of 10,000 yen notes wrapped with a strip of paper onto the table. As Angie turned her back to him and made to leave, the man raised his voice as though clinging to her. But Angie didn't stop walking.
お願いだ。その本は一体謝礼はいらない。その本を見せてくれ。
私とあなたはウィッチハントの同志だけど、求める深さが違うみたい。あなたが楽しんでるのは猫箱の外側。
Yeah, Angie's trying to get in there.
そして私が知りたいのは猫箱の内側。そしてこの一冊はその猫箱を開く鍵ね。
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but, you know.
あなたには過ぎてるわ。じゃあね。Goodbye, gentlemen. Have a nice day.
待ってくれ。スマレラさん。
His voice didn't reach her. She'd already joined up with Amakusa and gone into the car. Poor bastard.
収穫はありましたか?
Yeah, found out that the Beatrice equals culprit.
最後の最後にね。やっぱりそうだった。メッセージボトルを記したのはベアトリーチェ本人だった。
そいつはクールだ。魔女は実在するで決着で。
At least someone who's acting like a witch exists.
さあね。寝ていい?
Yes, you're not allowed to sleep in this car because you're the one who's paying me.
あのおしゃべり教授。きっと講義では自分の世界に入っちゃって寝ちゃう子続出だと思うわ。
Probably.
どうぞどうぞお休みを。
しかしうまくいくもんね。あいつ私のことスマデラだと最後まで信じてたわ。
The Sumadera family had set up a web beforehand around any people Angie might try to contact. They had offered a reward to anyone who could take Uchirimiya Angie into custody if she appeared. Angie had foreseen that and had snatched it away. She had called herself a Sumadera and had cleverly tricked the man by saying her own subordinates would set up an ambush, so he didn't need to worry about it. She had taken him outside. So when the Sumadera family pursuers reached the professor's house, there was no longer anyone there.
家人の話では午前中にスマデラを名乗る若い男女が訪れ、教授を連れ出したきりまだ帰宅しないそうです。裏をかかれた可能性が。
いけない子ね、エンジェちゃんは。そういう悪知恵、姉さんの血なのかしらね。あんなに名乗るのは嫌だと言ってたスマデラの名を気安く名乗ってくれちゃうなんて。 そのうち教授もお戻りになるだろうさ。
Maybe. In the next 5 hours, he eventually returns.
そしたらソチャでも振る舞わないとね。
はっ、了解しました。
私を手玉に取ったつもりかしら。やんちゃな子なんだから。
With the demonic look on her face, Kasumi violently stamped her heel. Oh, I sound a little upset. I'll teach you. About my magic of origins. No, I taught you before, right? And you used it before. Did you forget? You were also a witch apprentice, Angie. With your name entered into the Mariage Sorcier? Weren't you? Sorcier? Whatever. Fuck you. God damn it. The one time I didn't want to pronounce something.
私も魔女に加えてもらったんだっけ。
I closed Maria's diary and flopped down on a very high-class looking bed. I slept deeply for a long time in the car, so it took longer than usual for drowsiness to set in, and I read the diary as I waited. This was a super expensive hotel in the city. Since often used by the rich and famous, they were very big on confidentiality. That made it very convenient for Angie to escape her pursuers. The idea that renegades should spend their nights hiding in cheap hotels is a commoner's way of thinking. Yeah, fucking plebs. To Angie, who possessed all the wealth of the Ushirimiya family, renegade life was comfortable indeed. Of course, even though he was on guard, Amakusa was a man and therefore in a separate room. Angie used the bedroom of the suite, and Amakusa lay on the sofa in the living room. According to Amakusa, the sofas here were more pleasant than his own beds had been recently. Poor guy. When I looked at the clock, I saw that it was almost 2 in the middle of the night. I'm still not getting sleepy. I sighed deeply. At the time, even though there was no wind, I had the feeling that Maria's diary fluttered. Then One-chan appeared. Her form was no longer the normal one I had known. She was wearing the dress that Beatrice had given her after acknowledging her as a witch.
もう寝ないと明日が辛いよ。
How about you use some magic and make her go to sleep?
私も魔女なら魔法が使えるのよね。
うん、使えるよ。教えてあげたでしょ、使い方。昔は使えたはずだよ。
覚えてる。使いたくなった。
寂しくなった？
別に。毎日枕が違うくらいのことで辛くなんてならないわ。
魔法の最初の一歩は寂しいからとか退屈だからとか、そのくらいのささやかな理由でいいの。
眠くなるまでの暇つぶしだとしても。
うん、エンジェがもう一度魔法のことを思い出してくれて、マリアは嬉しい。
It's been quite a long time since I last used magic. At one point, with Maria's instruction, I touched a corner of it and opened the book a tiny bit. So I should still remember that sensation.
今のエンジェはかなり魔法の力が衰えてる。基本に忠実じゃないと難しいよ。
うん。四方を確認。
Blows up a hole in the wall. What the fuck are you doing?
静かな空間を確保。
天草さんは？
寝てるわ。
After opening the door to the living room, a craft guy could see the blanket caterpillar on the sofa roll over in its sleep.
今のエンジェの弱い魔力では半魔法力の影響を受けすぎる。人の姿だけじゃない、声も音も気配さえもエンジェの魔法の邪魔をする。それらを完璧に立って。
There is no spoon.
古代魔術師たちがアトリエを閉ざして孤独を守ったように。
覚えてるわ。人間の存在自体が魔法を妨げる。故に人に魔法を見せるということそのものがとても高位な魔女の証だったわね。
Obtain a quiet space for yourself alone. That should be enough to prepare a space to use magic.
次によりしろ。今のエンジェには自転車の補助輪 いえ、チェーンくらい大事。
これは当然無理よね。
Angie rubbed her own head. She wore her hair accessories there with pink gems attached. They felt a little childish for Angie, but she never took them off, not even for a single day.
今の園児にはとても無理。あの日から一日も休むことなく修行していたなら、あるいは今頃は呼び出すことができたかもしれないね。
今から修行したらどのくらいかかるの？
I don't know, about 80 years.
魔女の修行は幼き日の1年が老いの10年と同じ価値があると言われてる。相当の覚悟がいるよ。
それこそ後ろ身や金蔵くらいに？ピアノもバイオリンも魔法も幼い頃からの英才教育が大事なのね。
今の園児は初めて魔法を使えた時よりもその力が落ちている。無理をしないで基本に忠実に。
After stubbornly rubbing those things on my head one more time, I gave up. Then I started fishing through the knapsack, looking for anything that might make a good vessel. That water bottle right there.
これならよりしろにはぴったりじゃない？
懐かしい。それならば今の園児でも召喚できると思うよ。それには今主がいない。園児が新しい主になるのも可能なはず。
What? Among the things that looked like a good vessel, I took the one I thought might possess the strongest magical power, and set it on the side table near the bed with a clatter. It was a shady-looking stake-shaped weapon with an occult design inscribed on it. Oh my god, yes. Yes. Come on, pull a good stake. It was one of the 7 stakes of purgatory, which the witch used to offer sacrifices. Come on, no one. Fucking Snake Eyes are a bitch, come on. When the police had been searching the family's possession, they had collected a large amount of junk. After the investigation finished, these had politely returned to the Ushirimiya family. Finding something that I had seen in the pictures of Maria's diary, I took it home with me. Come on.
煉獄の七杭
Come
は
on.
もともと7本で一揃いだった。気の毒にね。今はもう彼女1本だけ。
Come on. Good numbers. One-chan smiled, looking lonely. I pulled another book out of the knapsack. This was an old-fashioned, and you could tell that it was an occult book just by looking. Come on. But its contents were plain. It was one of Maria's elaborate notebooks. It wasn't a diary. This was a grimoire which she had written as a witch. The 7 stakes of purgatory are Beatrice's furniture, created by her and employed only for her sake. But since Beatrice is also a witch of fuck you, they could be employed by Maria, a witch of the same alliance. For that reason, the method of summoning the 7 stakes of purgatory and how to handle them was written about in great detail in Maria's grimoire. And, as another person with their name registered in the alliance, I was also permitted to employ them.
この杭は
I want to be part of that
七姉妹の
alliance.
誰？
Oh, please be a good one.
マリアの魔導書に彼女らの特徴がよく記されてるよ。七杭の姉妹は名前を間違えられることをとても嫌う。
Come on.
召喚する前によく彼女らの名前を思い出して。
Don't worry, I got them all memorized.